Have you ever encountered an event that seemed destined by fate? Today, I have a story that might make you believe in fate and destiny. Welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into today's captivating tale, I have a request and a reward for you. Please take a moment to like this video if you enjoyed our previous stories. As a token of appreciation, the first 100 people to like this video will receive a special shout out in our next video. So don't miss out on this opportunity to be among the first. Now let's dive into today's story. With each breath she took, her tail transformed into a pair of legs, and her fish-like features started to morph into those of a human. When the transformation was complete, she found herself standing on the shore of the lake, her bare feet sinking into the soft sand for the very first time. Once upon a time, in the heart of a forgotten African kingdom nestled between rolling hills and a vast shimmering lake, life flowed as serenely as the waters that surrounded it. The realization that her transformation was temporary and she would soon have to return to her world unsettled her. The old woman, sensing Amara's travel thoughts, gently inquired about her concerns. And in response, Amara poured out her heart, sharing her tale and her growing fondness for the world she had only briefly experienced. It wasn't just any flower. It was a white rose, a symbol of purity, innocence, and everlasting love. It represented the human experiences, emotions, and connections she had discovered in her brief time away from the lake. Amara felt a profound connection to the flower, believing it encapsulated the essence of her journey thus far. Her laughter echoed across the still waters, carrying with it the magic that had allowed her to step into the human world. The wonders and complexities of the human world she had experienced were so different from her own, and she longed to bridge the gap between them. And when Amara finished her story, she offered words of comfort and wisdom that soothed Amara's troubled spirit. Before parting ways, Amara thanked the old woman for her kindness and guidance. The potion's effects were unknown, and she could not predict the consequences of harnessing such potent magic. But her yearning for the human world was too strong to resist. Guided by instinct and intuition, she combined these ingredients with the essence of the white rose, creating a shimmering emerald liquid that pulsed with raw magic. But their attempts were futile, and Amara's hope began to fade. The very magic that had allowed her to experience the human world now held her captive, mocking her dreams of walking on land once more. And as she looked down, she saw her tail reappear, signifying her transformation back into her mermaid form. Overwhelmed with joy and disbelief, Amara laughed aloud, her voice echoing through the underwater palace. Intrigued and slightly apprehensive, Kofi decided to return the conch shell to the lake, believing it would be the right thing to do. Startled by the unexpected sound, Kofi followed the voice and discovered Amara ensnared in a thicket of reeds near the water's edge. Moved by her tale, Kofi didn't hesitate. He knew he had to help her break the curse and set her free. And as she stepped back into the lake, the magical conch shell once again transforming her into her mermaid form, she clutched the white rose close to her chest. The concoction had amplified her mermaid instincts, making it nearly impossible for her to leave the water. Her longing for the human world had become a curse, trapping her in a watery prison of her own making. As he placed the shell to his lips and blew, the air around them shimmered and Amara's form began to shift. They knew that their unique bond, forged in the depths of the lake, would guide them through any obstacle and lead them to a future filled with possibilities. Instead of disappearing, Amara felt a surge of power unlike anything she had experienced before. If you've enjoyed this tale, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this video with your friends. Until next time, may your days be filled with sunshine and your nights with starlight. The curse had been lifted, But it wasn't because of the conch shell. It was because of the bond she had formed with Kofi and the compassion he had shown her. However, she also shared an idea that sparked a new determination in Amara's heart. Overjoyed and grateful, Amara and Kofi embraced. In that moment, they knew their lives had been irrevocably altered by fate. She left behind the mermaid realm, not with regret, but with gratitude for the experiences and the love that had shaped her journey. Little did he know that his simple act would change his life forever. As he reeled in his catch, his net snapped on something unusual, and upon closer inspection, he discovered the magical conch shell that had enabled Amara's initial transformation. The old woman, without hesitation, ushered Amara inside, offering her warm smiles and comforting words. Nana Quaim, renowned for his knowledge of ancient lore, recognized the conch shell immediately and shared tales of the mermaids and their enchanting ways. The vibrant mermaid, who had once explored the human world with wonder, was now reduced to a shadow of her former self, trapped in a perpetual state of longing and despair. Hoping to uncover a way to prolong her visits or perhaps even find a way to live both on land and in the water. And then a brilliant idea struck her. What if she used the rose to create a magical elixir, a potion that could allow her to revisit the human world whenever she desired? Yet their efforts seemed to come up short, leaving Amara's hopes dwindling with each passing day. Soon, Amara found herself seated at a table laden with delectable food, each dish more enticing than the last. As she turned to leave, she noticed a tiny cottage nestled amidst the trees. Drawn by an inexplicable force, she made her way to the cottage, her heart pounding with anticipation. The kingdom was known for its impenetrable borders, lush landscapes, and most notably, its line of benevolent rulers who had steered the kingdom to prosperity and peace. However, in the depths of this tranquil kingdom, hidden beneath the surface of the lake, there existed a world that was as enchanting as it was mysterious. This was the realm of the aquatic beings known as mermaids, creatures of immense beauty and allure who lived in the depths of the lake. Legend spoke of this shell granting its holder the ability to walk on land for a limited time and interact with the human world. This idea resonated deeply within Amara, and she began to rummage through the old woman's cottage, searching for the perfect memento. Intrigued and filled with a sense of adventure, Amara decided to test its powers. Their existence, though, remained a secret known only to the oldest inhabitants of the kingdom and the spirits of the water. Among them was a mermaid of unparalleled grace and charm named Amara. Her skin was the color of polished mahogany, her eyes glistened like the stars in the night sky, and her flowing locks mirrored the cascading waterfalls of the hidden river. Unlike her peers, Amara harbored a deep yearning for the world beyond the lake, a world she had only glimpsed in her dreams. She yearned to explore this realm, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a longing for something more. One day, as Amara was exploring the farthest reaches of her watery domain, she stumbled upon an ancient artifact, a magical conch shell that was said to possess otherworldly powers. As she placed the conch shell to her lips and blew, a mystical fog began to form around her. Overwhelmed by the sensation of solid ground beneath her and the wind tussling her hair, she couldn't help but laugh in pure delight. When she knocked on the door, a kind-faced old woman opened it. And upon seeing Amara, her eyes widened in surprise. But amidst her enjoyment, she couldn't shake off a nagging worry. The old woman listened patiently, her gaze filled with understanding. She suggested that instead of returning home empty-handed, Amara could bring back something symbolic from the human world, an object that represented the experiences and emotions she had encountered. Her gaze fell upon a simple flower, one that the old woman had casually placed in a vase. With newfound purpose, she carefully plucked the rose, its delicate petals enveloping her fingers. And then she knew this flower was more than just a symbol. Touched by Amara's choice, the old woman smiled warmly, knowing that Amara had found something truly meaningful. Back in her underwater realm, surrounded by the familiar faces of her people, Amara couldn't help but feel a sense of disquietude. Determined to find a way to reconnect with the human world, Amara delved into ancient texts and consulted with the wisest of her mermaid elders. As time went on, Amara's thoughts drifted back to the rose, the tangible reminder of the world she yearned for. With renewed vigor, Amara gathered rare aquatic herbs and blossoms known for their mystical properties. Before taking the first sip, Amara knew this was a risky endeavor. As the potion coursed through her veins, a familiar tingling sensation enveloped her body. But her elation was short-lived. As she gazed towards the surface, she realized something terrifying. Desperate for help, Amara turned to the mermaid elders, hoping they could assist her in breaking the curse. Days turned into weeks, and Amara's spirit grew weaker with each passing moment. And then one day, a young fisherman named Kofi cast his net into the lake. Kofi, intrigued by the shell's otherworldly aura, decided to visit the wise elder of his village, Nana Quem, hoping for some answers. He explained that the conch shell was a conduit to the mermaid realm and that its presence could bring both great fortune and unforeseen challenges. As he stood on the lakeshore, preparing to release the conch shell back into the water, he heard a faint voice calling out for help. With swift movements, he freed her from the reeds, and Amara, weak and desperate, revealed her plight to him, explaining the curse that bound her to the lake. Together, they returned to the lake, and with the conch shell in hand, Kofi attempted to recreate the magical transformation that had trapped Amara. Her tail reappeared, but unlike before, it remained. Their connection had created a unique magical link, allowing Amara to retain her human form while still possessing the strength and resilience of her mermaid tail. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the lake, Amara, now able to walk freely on land, bid farewell to her underwater home. Hand in hand, Amara and Kofi walked away from the lake, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And so their tale became a legend whispered around campfires, a reminder that sometimes fate intervenes to lead us to our true destinies. Thank you for joining us on this extraordinary adventure.